race is a hard thing, and it always was meant to be a hard thing because when God divided, split the races and stuff like that. But they're trying to say that Trump is a racist. How can he be a racist when he's raising the economic rate of these people? How can that be racist? They still don't shoot people in Japan or Germany. Like they said, from, what we've done in the past. And
before the coronavirus come about, I mean, we had the lowest unemployment.
Black unemployment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody did. It was
Every category.
every-
Women, Hispanic, every single one.
Well, and a lot of this is that they don't want to upset the apple cart. A lot of this, he's taken a lot of money from slush funds and the mush in the government that he's pissing a lot of people off because he's taking a lot of that sloppy money out of there too, by tightening up these regulations and this and that, and he's pissing a lot of people off.
Probably diverting it to the wall.
Well, something to that, but he's been a good man. He's a good president, and what can they say about him? What's he done wrong? They said when he used to go into the hotel rooms, go to those restaurants and stuff like that, he'd go back in the back room and he'd be handing people $100 bills. Yeah. He said, the cooks and everything like that. He would do that for them and stuff
He
like
sent
that.
his personal plane overseas to bring back bodies of soldiers that had died because we couldn't get them back quick enough. I mean, I don't know.
And especially the police support, the blue line, the thin blue line has to be kept because there has to be order. And
Yes,
without there wouldn't be no order. Look at Biden and those guys. Look at Kamala Harris. Some of her statements about the rioters. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Well, they were helping organize to get bail money to get them out.
Yes, the bail funds and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. There's over a $200,000 or $300,000 bail fund in Wisconsin that now they're worried about who's going to get it.
Yeah.
Now, because there was money. Yeah, they kept it like, $500,000. And now it's in the bank, and now they're trying to figure out who's going to get this money and stuff like that. But it comes down to borders, language, and culture. Without borders, language, and culture, we have no America. It's sad you come here to America, but it said like all the first refugees that used to come, the Irish and Italian, they spoke Italian, German in the house. When they went out, they spoke American. Okay, it's a matter of assimilation, and part of the problem with the blacks, they haven't kind of assimilated in a way because they think they want to. I don't know what it is. They want to. Have their own little island. That's what it is.
Well, what was you saying earlier about how about the black man hasn't done anything for the white man like the white man has done for the.
Well, I wouldn't say. How can you guys deliver paradise and perfection when we can't deliver it to you? How do they want perfection and stuff like that, and they can't deliver it. Nobody can deliver it to anybody. God can deliver it if he so chooses to do so.
Right.
But nobody can deliver this perfection that they want. Coming up, you're going to kick them down. It's human nature, And so, who wins the war goes to the victors. But then again, that's like white society when the guy said that they ought to do with history. They ought to do with history because it's too much about white people. Well, didn't white people build this country? To some degree, stole it from the Indians.
Yeah.
But as the Bible says, you will eat from wells, you will drink from wells you did not dig, you will eat from vineyards that you did not plant. So that means that somebody's, land is being taken and stuff like that. And the only land that was ever promised to anybody was Israel. So the rest is up to grabs for a way with might.
Yeah. Wow.
So there's some of these basic laws of laws, and they talk about the old Republican Party and the old white guys, like I said, in this country. For lack of better words, everybody would not be living at this standard of life if it wasn't for those old white guys that supposedly ripped everybody off that these people hate and despise, even the liberal Democrats.
Yep.
They would not live at the level that they do. And see, that's what it is. The standard of life has never hit a plateau. It's always waned and peaked. There has never been one set standard of life. And so, by Trump trying to bring all the ships up, raise the tide for everybody, he's trying to help. I mean, there's just no way that to improve our military, to improve our social status. I mean, to improve our military, to improve employment, to improve police enforcement, to improve all these things. How can it be wrong? How can it be bad? But you know, this is funny that I should say this. Just a quarter of the food that's produced in America goes to waste. Did you know that?
Yep.
A quarter of the food, goes to waste.
Why do you think Trump has had so much backlash though? And they've been
They're jealous of his money.
Since day one. They've been trying to kick him out of
It's
office.
jealousy. It's jealousy, and they talk about Russian collusion and stuff like that. The Steele report, they bought that off the Russians. They all the collusion that they did it, man. They did it, and not to mention what Biden said when he fired that prosecutor over there and stuff. It's plainly blatant what they're up to. It's so obvious that they do not care about the United States and the values, and that's like either God's there or He's not. But you look at homosexuality, okay? One of the main stumbling points of the left. When you put semen up a man's butt, it does nothing. But when you put it in a woman's vagina, it makes babies. So it's some very powerful stuff that does some very powerful things. And, okay, drug use and stuff like that, it weakens the fabric of our nation. And it should be combated to some degree, but that's the problem, though. That's what they think, though, that we've become a bunch of loose, crazy, and there's some truth to that. We've got a little wild and stuff like that, and that whole die spirit of the people that built country is gone. It's gone. It's gone, and they said it's on the verge of everything. Like I said, when I was little, they canned pickles, went out, hunted mushrooms, hunted fish, did all kinds of stuff. Learn how to clean a rabbit, clean a turtle and all this stuff, And you look at people now and they just like, what's going on? So traditional values, which I'd have to say defines Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Traditional values, which there's nothing wrong with them. I ain't getting this right.
He's kind of like the old way, the old school way of thinking, and
instead of this new idea, because like Paul, man, he's gone. There's a lot of people, Paul. Those guys are gone. It's like, I'm 22, you got it, you're it. And that's what they're saying, that with food, they're losing their son. I just can't put it in words.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. It's very frustrating because, they said borders, language, and cultures. Without our borders, we wouldn't have no America. Without our language, we wouldn't have America. And without our culture, which is one of the harder things because there's all kinds of cultures, and that's what makes America great, the mixed bag of cultures. But it's starting to have a problem here, though, with non-assimilation, by certain groups and stuff like that.
What do you think of certain groups? What do you think about Black Lives Matter?
I do not agree with most of Black Lives Matters. Look at all the people that got shot at the rallies. Look at all the people that died. More people have died at Black Lives Matter rallies than they said got killed in Iraq one day.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't hear that.
Something like that. 14 or 15 people have gotten shot and killed at Black Lives Rally Matters. And
so that's kind of counterproductive then.
it's all been counterproductive for somebody to remember during the 60s and 70s, remember black is beautiful and we're this big melting pot? Now, why is it took such a separate part? What's because of...
Do you think that started with Obama?
Yes, it definitely started with Obama. I mean, he did not do anything for race relationships. He did more for homosexuals than he did the black community. But it wasn't his job to just get in there and do something for the black community. He was the president of everybody. And when those people, black people, kind of took it upon themselves, like, especially ours, that was bullshit to anybody that knew what the president had to stand for all the other people in the country. And see, that's like Trump, man. Trump is doing a great job, man. He's I don't know. I can't. It's unfathomable.
Yeah.
That he's doing these great things for this country, and they don't see it, but they send some blabbering fool like Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton over there to deal with Vladimir Putin, man. You know, and that's what they said when they around Obama. They said Vladimir Putin was playing three-dimensional chess, and Obama was in there playing checkers.
Right.
And it's terrible.
Well, when he went on his apology tour in Japan, that set me off about him.
Yeah, first
I mean,
thing, yeah, apologizing. go
All's
around the
fair in
world,
war. You don't
apologize,
go back
know?
and apologize for it 50 years later.
Yeah, well, and plus him sending that money back to Iran, that was a big mistake. $300 million, $400 million. There was a C-141, that's about 2 C-17s with pallets of money that they shipped back to them that got froze during, you know, when they were starting all that trouble and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where this guy's getting, man.
You think if Trump gets reelected and he's back in there, you think that he's gonna make the economy right?
Well, the economy can't take another shutdown.
Nope.
It can't take
No, I
another
agree with
shutdown.
that.
There's no way in this world that it can take another shutdown. Not to mention the Chinese, they lost a bunch of money and they don't like it. They liked it, but they also hated it at the same time. You know, it's like if you were you're screwing some dude's wife and you're getting money off of her from him, but you couldn't tell him because you found out he's getting laid off. You couldn't say nothing to him. You dig?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bunch of mixed.
Do you think if Biden gets in there, he's gonna help out the economy?
No, I think he's going to help Hunter get another board job.
Yeah, I doubt it very seriously, because their way, their economic outlook and stuff like that, they just don't think right.
It'll be another one of those individual mandates that are not tax, they're a penalty, but
Yes.
it's technically a tax.
Yeah, but see, there's one bad thing though about the economy, which it's doing good, but look, how long does it take you to spend a 20? A 20 is like $1. Even though the economy is a lot better, the value of the spending $20 has the buying value of probably $5 in the 80s as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't tell you about that. And how come they forgot about the national debt? Remember how they talked about the national debt and how it's going to sink us? The national debt will never sink us because nobody will ever be able to call it in on America because they can't let us go under.
Nope.
You see?
That's true.
They cannot let us go under, man. There's just no way. See, everybody's talking about how scared it was about the national debt threat and stuff like that. They cannot let us go under because if America collapses, the rest of the world is done. And that's the reason why we can't afford to let Joe Biden get in there, because there's certain things that we just have to do. And that's like I was talking about the standard that, you know, they talk about Washington and all those guys that came before us. We would not be living here the way we do without some of that white ringism and republicanism. It wouldn't be this nice out there. That's what they don't realize. All the liberal Democrats and stuff like that, you would not live the life you did in gasoline, fruit, and stuff like that. If some of those things that you so hate weren't done, you couldn't live the way you live.
It's true.